say Namo Om Vishnu Padhaya Krishna Vistaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Kauravani Pachaline Nivasisha Sanyavari Pashtatara Satanine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So, Mother Mongo has enthusiastically got his golden hand up. Hare Krishna. So what I'll do is share, as usual, that statement. I will share the screen. Hare Krishna. But what I thought we'd do before we begin, today we're on chapter 9, continuing and beginning text 3. But I thought I would just revisit. First of all, I thought just revisit, because we're in the beginning of the chapter, no harm in just going over the 2 verses we've done so far. So I'll just read the translation. Supreme Personality Godhead said, "My dear Arjuna, because you're not envious of me, I shall impart to you this most confidential knowledge and realization, knowing which you shall be relieved of all the miseries of material existence." Right? So that's why this is being instructed or told to Arjuna, because he's a friend and devotee, and something very special is going to be given to him, where he can be free of all miseries. And then, yeah, this verse, Raja Vijaya Rajago. Yeah, only 2 verses. And this verse, this knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, because it gives direct perception of the self by realization. It's the perfection of religion. It is everlasting and is joyfully performed. Okay, so without spending the whole session on this verse, we'll try and do it a bit briefly. But I thought I'd just ask devotees if they could identify the specific points that Prabhupada brings up in the purple to explain each of these aspects of this verse. So the first one is, now I have highlighted it in the purple. So before I shift to that page, I'll see if anyone might get the first one. This knowledge is the king of education. So if you have your own Bhagavad Gita there, you can look. So what does Prabhupada say to illustrate this point? If you have your Gitas, you can look. This is an open book examination.
This is the most secret, yeah? Secret about secrets.
No. Why is it Raja Vidya? Why is it referred to Raja Vidya? How does Prabhupada...
Is it because it gives information about the soul and Krishna and their relationship?
Correct. It's there.
No.
Yeah.
All the answers.
Correct. No, that's correct.
I just guessed.
It was a good guess.
I thought, well, what is the highest knowledge? And that would be the king of education. And I just thought, well, that's knowledge about the soul and Krishna.
Great. And you guessed
you always give the right answers. Exactly how it's
that was an educational guess. Good
Yeah.
one. So here it is here. I've just highlighted it. This chapter is called The King of Education, because it's the essence of... Oh, no, actually, Mavalavangalataka, you wasn't exactly spot on. You asked the next... You answered the next one, but still, you did well. The Bhagavad Gita is called the King of Education because it's the essence of all doctrines and philosophies explained before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's the essence, it's the creme de la creme, the cream of the creme, the cream of the cream. Yeah, Bhagavad is the essence. So that's why it's called the king. And Rajavidya Rajaguyam, and Mavalavanga correctly, well, she answered the next part, Rajaguyam. So that means confidential. So here I've highlighted why it's confidential, because it involves understanding the difference between the soul and the body. And then Prabhupada adds, and the king of all this confidential knowledge culminates in devotional service. And if we hear elsewhere, Prabhupada says, it's not enough to know you're not the body. You have to know that you are part and parcel of Krishna and the rendered devotional service. So that's Rajavidya Rajagoyam. So Pavitram means, everyone knows what Pavitram means? Pavitra, everyone's got Pavitras around the neck. Pavitram, it means pure. So it's the purest. So how does Prabhupada establish that it's the purest? What does he explain? Back to Sastri examination. No certificates here, I'm afraid. Sorry. Let's give you some clues, some direction then. What's the pure? So it purifies. It's so pure that it purifies. What does it purify?
Your heart.
But what's in the heart?
Well, all the anarthas.
Sorry?
All the anarthas
Yeah.
and ignorance.
Yes. So we're getting closer. Yeah. So it purifies. Yeah. And Prabhupada quotes from the Nectar of Devotion, where he describes like here, you'll see here on the page that we're sharing, Prabhupada is explaining all that here. This is from Nectar of Devotion. How sinful reactions goes like a seed, it is sown, doesn't immediately appear, it takes some time. Then the sprouting plant, it assumes the form of a tree, then it flowers and bears fruit. Yeah, interesting. I don't know if it's interesting to you, but my ashram overlooks a courtyard, and they're redoing it, and they're making it into a green space with trees and landscapes. So outside my window now, I've got trees that have been planted, but it's just branches. So I'm watching them every day to see the little buds coming out. Practically every day I'm watching and awaiting. So that's like sinful reactions, or the things we do in this world which go against scripture injunction creates it's like a bad seed. So anyway, so without spending the whole time on this verse, with here, everything gets purified. Whatever form, whatever stage that seed is in, here. So you can see here, I've highlighted this. For those who are engaged in devotional service of the Supreme Lord, all sinful reactions, whether fructified in the stock or in the form of a seed, gradually vanish. Therefore, the purifying potency of devotional service is very strong. So that's how Prabhupada establishes Pavitram Uttamam. But please take note of this. I was just reading it just before. I just was going over this. But it happens gradually. Yeah. Gradually, just like a fan, you take it out, then gradually it stops. So gradually. Yeah. So it might not happen quick enough for us, but we have to be patient. But eventually everything becomes purified. So that's.
Can I ask something quick?
Yes,
sorry.
Please.
But the problem is now, if we stop devotional service, or we are going in, going out, then it will take even longer and it will be more difficult.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's, I mean, there will be, yeah. So Prabhupada sometimes describe it as when you're trying to make a fire and then you put water on it. So that's generally maybe our experience for some, but when one comes to the stage of being more fixed in devotional service, then, as you mentioned, Mother Mongol, correctly, then the purification is more thorough. It's more thorough. Yeah. it happens, we get purified quicker. Yeah. So it's down to us in one sense, how we apply ourselves to the practice of devotion, then we can become purified. Yeah. And to that degree we don't, then we just go slow, you know. All right, so then I've got Uttamam here, means it's transcendental. So here it is Uttam, which means above tamas, Utta, above. So I'll just read. Tamas means this material world of darkness, and Uttam means that which is transcendental to material activities. So devotional activities are never to be considered material, although sometimes it appears that devotees are engaged just like ordinary men. Yeah. There's something else happening which may not be seen immediately, or may not, what's the word? May not, yeah, it may not be understood, but it is transcendental. And then another one is pratyaksha, is another word used. And pratyaksha, anyone has your Bhagavad Gitas there? You can look at the word. If you look at pratyaksha in a word for word, and someone can tell us what it means.
It says pratyaksha, by direct experience.
Yeah, pratyaksha, by direct experience. So it's not theoretical. It's something that you yourself can taste, you yourself can experience. And I mean, it's right here. So Prabhupada speaks about the Mahamantra. It is said that the execution devotion is so perfect, one can perceive the results directly. This direct result is actually perceived where practical experience that any person who's chanting the holy names, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare, quickly becomes purified of all material contamination. Hopefully that's our experience to one degree or another. We should have felt, and we should feel the direct effect of engaging in devotional service. Yeah. So Prakdashava, Damyam, and here and yeah. Damyam, yeah. So probably if one is engaged simply in the actual devotional service, everything is revealed automatically. So again, on that same point, he can understand. This is called pratyaksha. So you can perceive it for yourself. And then Prabhupada says it's susukam. Anyone can tell us what sukam means? That's an easy one.
Very happy.
Yeah, sukha dukkha. Yeah, samad vidva, so dukkha. Yeah, so again, I'll just, yeah, the highest perfection of religion. Yeah, so down here, actually, we're going down here. Yeah, just here. The process of devotional service is a very happy one. So why? So why is devotional service a happy one? It's
Because
there.
gives pleasure to Krishna.
Because
Gives pleasure to Krishna.
it gives pleasure to us as well.
To us too, yeah. But
But specifically, no, Prabhupada, what's Prabhupada saying? You can read your Bhagavad Gitas, like here, it's here on the screen, and I'm highlighting it here. You see it? Someone can tell us?
devotional service consists of Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnam. So one can simply hear the chanting of the glorify of the Lord, or can attend philosophical lecture or transcendental knowledge.
Yeah, so it's a happy one. Yeah. Normally happy people, well, in the material world, they make out to be happy. But dancing, isn't it? Shravanam Kirtanam. Hearing, we have festivals, like we just had festival. Shravanam Kirtanam, it's wonderful. You know, Kirtan here discourses about Krishna. Yeah, you don't need to be a yogi in the Himalayas. So, simply by sitting, one can learn and then eat the remnants of food offered to God. And then Prabhupada gives someone as an example of this. Who does he give as an example of someone who just by eating, he obtained pure love of God? Not just eating, but it was part of.
Narada.
Narada, yes, correct. Thank you, Mavsachai. Just by eating the prasad, the remnants of the devotees. So you can eat and become very happy. You eat prasadam. Yeah. So he gives the example of Narada Muni here, simply by associating with the great devotees and eating their remnants, he became ecstatically happy in love of Godhead. And then last part, then we'll go on to text 3, is it's everlasting. So I'll just read here, save a bit of time. It's said here that this devotional service is eternally existing. It is not as Mayavadis claim, it is not. Although they sometimes take to so-called devotional service, their idea is that as long as they are not liberated, they will continue their devotional service, but at the end, when they become liberated, they will become one with God. Yeah. Such temporary time-serving devotional service is not accepted as pure devotional service. Actually, devotional service continues even after liberation. There's one time when Prabhupada was having a heated argument. Sometimes Prabhupada would get quite heated, especially when he would speak to Indians, because he could get heated with them. He was speaking to one Mayavadi who was putting forward this theory that the practice of Upasana, which means worship, takes you to, actually brings you to oneness. So in other words, the activities of bhakti are temporary. So he was telling Prabhupada this. So you can imagine Prabhupada. And Prabhupada kept on repeating. Then at one point he kept on repeating, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. So Nitya means eternal. Bhagavat means service, and Sevaya, Sevaya means service to God is eternal. Prabhupada was saying it louder and louder each time. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. The man went on, Prabhupada said, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Oh. One time, Prabhupada, even in a different context, he was getting into an argument. This man was saying, it is all one. And Prabhupada was, then it was shut. No, it's not all one. Then Prabhupada got hold of the scruff of his shirt, said, what's the difference between your shirt and your jumper? Tell me. And he grabbed the man by the neck with his shirt and was, his disciples were amazed. Don't think Prabhupada said, you should not imitate. I can do that because I'm an old man. Okay, so that's a little summary of what we went over in the last verse. So let's read text 3, shall we? Okay, Mother Mongol, thank you. You've had your hand up patiently. You can. So just a connection, before we read, it's good to connect the verse. I had took a note of this. So, yes, so the connection between 9.2 and 9.3 is quite nice, actually, because this is so joyful, as has been explained. Then one may ask, why would one not take to it? Why then, if it's so joyful, it's so easy, it's so purifying, then why doesn't one take to it? Why does one remain in samsara, in the cycle of birth and death? Why? So then Krishna speaks this next verse. Okay, you can go ahead, Mother Mongol. Thank you.
To read the Sanskrit too?
Yeah. Here we're doing Sanskrit, yeah.
ashradahana purusha dharmashya parantapa aprapyamamni vartante mrityu samsara vartamani. Translation: those who are the faithful in this devotional service cannot attain me, O conqueror of enemies. Therefore they return to the path of birth and death in this material world. Purport: the faithless cannot accomplish this process of devotional service. This is the purport of this verse. Faith is created by association with devotees. Unfortunate people, even after hearing all the events of Vedic literature from great personalities, still have no faith in God. They are hesitant and cannot stay fixed in devotional service of the Lord. Thus, faith is most important factor for progress in Krishna consciousness. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that faith is the complete conviction that simply by serving the Lord Krishna, by serving the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna, one can achieve all perfection. That is called real faith. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 4:31-14, Yata taror mulani sechanena tripyanti tat skanda ujopash chakha pranopa haracha cha yathendriyanam tathaiva sarva annam achutejya. By giving water to the root of a tree, one satisfies its branches, twigs, and leaves, and by supplying food to the stomach, one satisfies all the senses of the body. Similarly, by engaging in the transcendental service of the Lord, or of the Supreme Lord, one automatically satisfies all the demigods and all other living entities. Therefore, after reading Bhagavad Gita, one should promptly come to the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita. One should give up all the other engagements and adopt the service of the Supreme Lord, Krishna, the personality of Godhead. If one is convinced of this philosophy of life, that is faith. Now
Let's just pause there if there's any questions or reflections here.
I think this is one of the best verses in Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah, you like it, yeah?
Everything inside, it says everything you need to know about everything.
Yeah, also the purport is quite astounding as well, as we'll read. Yeah. So we understand that here. Where does faith come from? It's quite clear, isn't it? By associating with devotees. Yeah. So it's quite interesting because it's not an intellectual exercise, but by being with those who embody devotion, then you become inspired to actually take it up. Some may be inspired just by reading, and they may be inspired with some, but generally it's going to be when you see someone who is practicing, and it gives you faith that you can also do. I remember before I joined, I was inspired by what I was reading, but I didn't believe anyone actually followed this philosophy. I'd never met anyone who followed the regulative principles in my life. Such was the culture I was brought up in. I never even thought some people existed, to those 4 regulative principles. But then I managed to start going to the temple, and I started to meet people who were following the regulative principles. And I met a lot of them, and they all, to one degree or another, following these principles. And that gave me faith. Oh, it is possible. Simply by that association. Yeah. So but then Prabhupada speaks of it as being there is so faith is not something that just stays static. It's something that grows. Yeah. It's something that grows and grows. And according to the development of that faith, one is considered to be at a certain level of devotion. Okay, so we're going to hear about that here now. So just keep in mind that here, Prabhupada's going to speak about qualification to enter bhakti, or qualification for eligibility. Right? So qualification for eligibility is based on faith and knowledge. But also devotees are, or devotees according, are not judged, you could say devotees are termed, not, there's another where their qualification is based on attachment and love. So how you, as advancement for eligibility is based on your faith and knowledge. And then one is characterized, that's the word. One is characterized also by development of attachment and love. So Prabhupada's going to speak about that here. So everyone's with us? Yes, Hare Krishna. Please, if anyone has any comments or questions as we read, you're quite welcome to unmute and ask, or I'll put it in the chat as well, as usual. Okay, you can continue, Madhu Mangal Guru.
Now, the development of the faith is the process of Krishna consciousness. There are three divisions of Krishna consciousness men. In the third class are those who have no faith. Even if they are officially engaged in devotional service, they cannot achieve the highest perfectional state.
I just
Wow.
stopped asking you lots of questions today. Sorry about this. But what's the name of this level of devotee? What's the word for it?
There is Uttamadhikari. There's,
No, no.
there's
Come down the other end.
the other end. This is the highest.
Yeah.
Kanishta.
Kanishta, correct. Mother Sahachari Jai. She gets a free plate of Rajbhog Prasad tomorrow.
Uttamadhikari is the last one, the highest stage, yeah?
Yeah, so Kanishta,
Yep.
this is the first one. The faith is very pliable. And, yeah, so they could. All right, you can continue reading.
Most probably they will sleep after some time. They may become engaged, but because they haven't complete conviction and faith, it is very difficult for them to continue in Krishna consciousness. We have practical experience in discharging our missionary activity that some people come and apply themselves to Krishna consciousness with some hidden motives, and as soon as they are economically a little well situated, they give up this process and take to the old ways again. It is only by faith that one can advance in Krishna consciousness. As far as the development of faith is concerned, one who is well versed in the literature of devotional service and has attained the stage of firm faith is called a firm class person in Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, so that's Uttama. Okay,
Uttama.
that's Uttama. So I mean, any comments, because we may have seen this, perhaps some within ourselves, but because in our devotional community over the years, those who have been around, as I say, for many years, hopefully will be around for many years to come. But generally, it was exactly as Prabhupada says here. In what does he say? We have practical experience in discharging our missionary activities. That some people come, and basically some people go. Some people, once they get somewhat sorted out through the process, through the activities of bhakti, they get their head together sometimes, and they get themselves together again. Then they go back into the material world. Yeah. So yeah, some people come and apply themselves, but have some hidden motive. Interesting. Prabhupada says that. Yeah.
Well, they say somewhere, I don't know, a long time I heard in a class, that there are few types of people who come to Krishna consciousness. The one who are in fear, the one who are very sick, let's say, and there is another type. So they come, heal, and then they leave.
Yeah. Those. So anyone could help Madhu Mongol here. He's quoting a verse from Bhagavad Gita. There's four
Fortunately,
types of people who, there's four types of people who will come to Krishna. Chaturvada Bhajanti Mam, Jana Sukri Arjuna, Ati Jignashi Atati Ganicha Parajashaba. Got the Sanskrit a bit wobbly, but so 4 types of people come to Krishna. Anyone can say that?
The distressed,
Stressed, yes, is one.
the inquisitive,
Inquisitive, correct.
looking for money,
Looking for money. Yeah.
Man,
Nannies.
knowledge,
And looking for knowledge, yeah.
knowledge. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the
So-
most fortunate ones are the ones who come without any motives.
Yeah. Or the best of them. And what does Krishna say? He says, over those 4, who is the best?
Nani, knowledge.
Gyani, yeah. Now, the Gyani there is not a Mayavad Gyani. It's a Gyani who's interested in knowledge about Krishna. So they're not coming, they're not coming shopping, so to speak. But so like it might be that some hidden motives, like we come to Krishna consciousness and we come for one of these 4 reasons. So we come with, we could say, these impure motives. Yeah. But by hearing from devotees, hearing about pure devotional service, then we desire to go forward. Yeah? So that's why important to like hear what is actual devotional service. Like, for instance, if one is not in knowledge and then they come to devotional service and they're coming for some material prosperity, etc., then when they hear the verse, then they're sitting down on a Sunday and they hear Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim Kavatam Badagrishka Kame Mama Janwani Janmisvade Bhagavad Bhakti Hoiti Pabe. I have no desire for wealth. Then they get, wow,
No,
they
well,
get a bit curious. No desire for wealth or followers or women or whatever. Then they think, wow. Then they, so just by hearing that, it goes in their intelligence and they start to meditate upon it. Oh. And so that's, so then they can go, but if they don't hear, they don't make use of hearing from devotees, then there's a good chance they're going to, for one reason or another, then they will go away, as Prabhupada's saying here. They will go away, you know. So, yeah. You can any other comments or questions, please feel free. So now he's going to speak about, he spoke a little about autumn. And what's the name of the second class, which he's going to speak about now?
Madhyama.
Madhyam. Yeah. Madhyam means middle, I think, actually. It means Madhyam, as far as I know. So we have Kanishta, Madhyam, and Uttamam. So a Kanishta, we should move as quickly as possible to at least Madhyam. Okay. So you can continue reading now, Madhumanga, at the top here.
And the second class are those who are not very advanced in understanding the devotional scriptures, but who automatically have firm faith that Krishna Bhakti or service to Krishna is the best course, and so is in good faith have taken it up. Thus they are superior to the third class, who have neither perfect knowledge of the scriptures nor good faith by the association and simplicity are trying to follow. The third class person in Krishna consciousness may fall down, but when one is in the second class, he does not fall down. And for the first class person in Krishna consciousness, there is no chance of falling down. Once in the first class will surely make progress and achieve the results at the end.
So sorry to keep interrupting here, but I was reading through this before and taking some notes. So what this means, that means let me read here. One in the first class will surely make progress and achieve the result. So what does that mean what does that mean then? If you're Madhyama? bit of a
So you need faith, no? You need the faith. If you
yeah.
have faith, it's more safe for you.
I guess it's a bit of a difficult question to ask because I have something specific in mind. That means you have to come to the stage of uttam. For you to actually make progress and achieve the result, you can't remain a madhyama. We can't. Yeah, we have to, at some stage, we have to obtain the level of faith which is uttam. Then we can make progress, real progress, and achieve the result at the end. Now, hopefully, this progression is a natural consequence of the practice of devotion. Yeah, and there's kanishta. Then, if you practice more, then your faith becomes firm. Then, if you continue practicing, then your faith becomes very deep. But so we have to progress. So only uttamas go back to Godhead. So, anyone want to go back to Godhead here? Yes. So that means we have to upgrade ourselves by the mercy of Krishna. All right.
But I think
so,
also when we get that faith, when we have a bit of faith and we catch it, that's how I feel, my own experience. When I caught it, I should not let it go. You should go till the end for it, because if you speculate a little bit or you let go, thinking, oh, I get a bit of credit and I can enjoy, that's it, you lost it. Then
yeah,
it's
or you
hard
might just
to
you might slow the whole process down. Yeah. So devotional service is quite a dynamic one. So it's an internally dynamic adventure. So we have to see, we have to keep our eyes on the goal and understand what is pure devotional service, etc., etc. Right now, the one in the second class, they've had experience of Krishna to one degree or another. So they've experienced the happiness and the bliss of Krishna. So even if they're not able to present the philosophy, or what I'm trying to say, even though they might have a full grasp of the details of the philosophy, they will never give up the practice. For instance, if they meet a charismatic person, yeah, they meet a charismatic, say, Christian or someone from another faith, who may be well versed in their particular scripture, and may even bewilder the mind, of a devotee. But because the devotee has had an actual experience of Krishna, they will never give up, even though this person seems to be more learned, etc., etc. Because they've had such an experience, that means their faith is firm. Now, someone's uttam, then they have very deep knowledge as well. Yeah. All right, let's perhaps finish this purport. You can read to the end, Mother Bongo.
As far as the third class person in Krishna consciousness is concerned, although he has faith in the conviction that devotional service to Krishna is very good, he has not yet gained adequate knowledge of Krishna through the scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. Sometimes this third class person in Krishna consciousness has some tendency towards karma yoga and jnana yoga, and sometimes they are disturbed. But as soon as the infection of karma yoga or jnana yoga is vanquished, they become second class or first class person in Krishna consciousness. Faith in Krishna is also divided in 3 stages and described in Srimad Bhagavatam. First class attachment, second class attachment, and third class attachment are also explained in Srimad Bhagavatam in the 11th canto. Those who have faith, even after hearing about Krishna and the excellence of devotional service, who think that it is simply eulogy, find the path very difficult, even if they are supposedly engaged in devotional service. For them, there is a very little hope of gaining perfection. Thus, faith is very important in the discharge of devotional service.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So you see at the end here, what I mentioned in the beginning, Prabhupada then speaks about faith, a faith in Krishna. Yeah, in the beginning he spoke about faith, the eligibility to advance. Then he spoke about, so he spoke in the beginning about one's eligibility is based on faith and knowledge. But then devotion also can be seen according to one's attachment and love. And that's what Prabhupada's speaking about here, faith in Krishna. So how much attached you are, or how much affection that you have for Krishna is also can be seen in different stages: first class, second class, and third class. Yeah, so that's explained in the 11th canto. Yeah, advancement according to attachment and love. Okay.
I was trying to understand this word eulogy in this phrase.
Eulogy, yeah.
A speech or piece of writing that praises someone or something highly, especially a tribute to someone who has just died. It means this word.
Yeah, so why is Prabhupada using it here? You can perhaps, Prabhupada's use of words is quite it's quite amazing, the particular words that Prabhupada uses. It's quite wonderful, you know. Why is he using eulogy here? So eulogy again means, what does it mean, Mother Mongol? You can tell us again.
So a speech or piece of writing that praises someone or something highly, especially a tribute to someone who has died, who has just died.
All right, so someone can help us then. So Prabhupada, those who have no faith even after hearing about Krishna and the excellence of devotional service, who think it is simply eulogy.
Like a story, yeah, they just think it's
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, got it.
books of how you call this? They think it's just mythology, myth.
Yeah, you got it. Yes, or mythology, as Prabhupada would pronounce. Yeah, they think it's an exaggeration. Yeah, just reading into some commentaries on this, that they think it's that what is written in his sastras are just exaggeration, so they have no faith. Yeah. Yeah, so that's why, even though hearing about how wonderful devotion is, Raja Vijaya Rajaguyam, some people do not take to it or cannot stick to it. They may come, but they cannot see it through to the end because of a lack of faith. Now, they may not make proper use of the association of devotees, and they might, yeah. So here, okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. So let's edge on to 9.4 and this. So here, the connection here. Now, Krishna's just he's in the first 3 verses. He's described the glories of transcendental knowledge, yeah, or the glories of devotional service to a Krishna. Yeah. So now he's going to speak about Krishna. Yeah, he's going to speak about Krishna. He's going to speak about how he is manifest within the world. Achincha Beda Peda. That was what I was looking for. Yeah. Yeah, knowledge of powers of God, the knowledge of the powers of Krishna. Yeah. All right. Bit of technical there. So these next 7 verses, I was just reading as well. This is the knowledge which is required by devotees who are situated in Dasya Bhakti, which means worship Krishna in awe and reverence. Yeah. So now Krishna's going to explain how he is manifested, or Chincha Beda. Bit technical, these few verses, okay? So we need another reader.
Yeah, I can read.
Go ahead. Thank you, Mother Nirvana. Thank you.
Is that text 9:4?
4, 9-4. Yes.
Thanks. Maya tatamidam sarvam jagata murtina matstani sarva bhutani najaham trace avastita. By me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, purport, said Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is not perceivable through the gross material senses. It is said, Atashi Krishna Namadi Nabhavet Grayam Indriyai Sevamuke Jivado Swayameva Spuritiyada. Bhakti Rasamita Sindhu 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. Lord Krishna's name, fame, pastimes, etc. cannot be understood by material senses. Only to one who is engaged in pure devotional service under proper guidance is he revealed. In the Brahma Samhita 538, it is stated, Premanjana Charita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadeva Hirdayeshu Vyokayanti. One who can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead Govinda always within himself and outside himself, if one has developed the transcendental loving attitude towards him. Thus, for people in general, he is not visible. Here it is said that although he is all-pervading, everywhere present, he is not conceivable by the material senses. This is indicated here by the word avyakta murtina. But actually, although we cannot see him, everything is resting in him. As we have discussed in the 7th chapter, the entire material cosmic manifestation is only a combination of his two different energies, the superior spiritual energy and the inferior material energy. Just as the sunshine is spread all over the universe, the energy of the Lord is spread all over the creation, and everything is resting in that energy. Yet one should not conclude that because he is spread all over, he has lost his personal existence. To refute such an argument, the Lord says, I am everywhere and everything is in me, but still I am aloof. For example, a king heads a government, which is but the manifestation of the king's energy. The different governmental departments are nothing but the energies of the king, and each department is resting on the king's power. But still one cannot expect the king to be present in every department personally. That is a crude example. Similarly, all the manifestations that we see and everything that exists, both in this material world and in the spiritual world, are resting on the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The creation takes place by the diffusion of his different energies, and as stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Vistabhyaham idam Krishnam. He is everywhere present by his personal representation, the diffusion of his different energies.
Okay, thank you. So this is known as, I mentioned a word before. This philosophy is known as?
Achinta Bheda Bheda Tattva.
Yeah. Achincha means?
Inconceivable.
Yeah, inconceivable. One, Bheda, in Achincha, Bheda, 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 Abheda, Tattva. The truth, yeah. Inconceivable. Yeah. Yes, yeah, let's go back. He's by me, my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. Yeah. Any comments or questions here? So how can we understand which is inconceivable, that which is inconceivable? It sounds like a contradictory question. How can we understand something that's inconceivable? It's here. We cannot. What? It says Krishna directly. He's beyond our senses. Yeah, he's beyond their mind. He's beyond their senses to be able to grasp. But here, one
Without
who's,
devotional service, we can't do anything. We can't understand anything.
yeah, that's basically it. One who's engaged in pure devotional service under the guidance is he revealed. Yeah, that
Only
means,
truth. Yes.
yeah. So it's not a mechanical practice. It's something that Krishna blesses the jiva with by engaging in the acts of devotion. That which is otherwise inconceivable becomes conceivable or appreciated. Yeah. How to appreciate that Krishna is everywhere. You cannot do it intellectually. I mean, we may be able to explain it, and Prabhupada gives an example. He gives a crude example to like help us to understand. Yeah. The example is given of a king heads a government. So it's a manifestation of the king's energy. It's going on. So Prabhupada mentions it's a crude example. So intellectually, we can probably give some examples to explain it, but then through Sevan Mukhi Hijivado, by serving Krishna, then one purifies one's senses and one may get insight into this inconceivable energy or this inconceivable truth of Krishna that is situated everywhere. Yeah.
So we need to get rid of the material senses and then develop the spiritual senses.
Well, we don't need to get rid of them. We just have
Not
to
rid of
clean.
them, but clean
Yeah,
them.
we just have to clean them. At the moment, we can only perceive matter, blunt things. But by engaging in devotion, we become fine-tuned, and our level of perception becomes finely tuned to be able to perceive and appreciate Krishna within the world. Yeah. And Krishna will give examples of how later in Bhagavad Gita explains, he will give examples of how he can be perceived in the world. So anyone could comment on this here. What's Prabhupada saying here? I'm just highlighting it here. Prema Jana, Prema Gana, Churuti, Bhakti, Vilochaneda. Sorry, Chandravalima, yes, please.
Eyes anointed with Krishna Prema.
Yeah, that's it. We're more familiar with this, isn't it? This Prema, yeah. And then Prabhupada says it here, loving attitude towards him. Yeah. If one is developed the transcendental loving attitude towards him. Who's an example of someone he could see Krishna everywhere, but his father could see him nowhere?
Prahlad Maharaj.
Prahlad, yeah, wasn't it? So Prahlad wasn't just offering intellectual explanation. He actually saw Krishna everywhere. He perceived him everywhere. Everything was a stimulus for his to remembering Krishna. He was so much absorbed in love and affection for him that he could not forget him. So that's why his father was asked in a sarcastic mood. He says, because he asked Prahlad, so where is this Lord? Where is he then? Just like a typical atheist, so where is Krishna? So how old was Prahlad? Anyone can tell us how old was Prahlad? 5 years old. 5 years old. So in complete purity of innocence, he said, oh, he's everywhere. Now, he wasn't trying to be clever. That was his pure state of mind and heart. He just saw the Lord everywhere. His father couldn't see him nowhere. Then his father became angry. So what comes next in the story? His father said, so he is if he's everywhere,
Let him show himself.
I said, is he in this pillar? So his father was being sarcastic as well there. He was just, he was being sarcastic. Oh, he's everywhere. Ha ha. Is he in this pillar? You fool. I can't see him in this pillar. And then to prove it, he was so angry at that point that he smashed the pillar with his fist or sword just to prove he wasn't there. But then what happened next? Come on, what happened next? Chandramani, what happened next? Huh?
Shingadev comes out of the pillar.
Yeah, and Shingadev comes out the pillow, so he was there.
I'm sorry, I've not been taking too much part. I cook after Rajbhog, I'm a bit dead.
No, there's no problems. Fine. So, yeah. So for devotee, they see, yeah. That's why, as we become purified in devotional service, everything can be wonderful for devotee. When they go out, they go for a walk, they see things of this world. Everything becomes a stimulus for their Krishna consciousness. Everything is a reason to think of Krishna. Devotee may see a kind exchange between one person and another, and they remember how kind Krishna is. Yeah. They may, they appreciate Krishna.
I think that's the most important. The moment you see a devotee very kind, you will never forget that, because you're never going to find on the whole planet a more kindest person.
Yeah, because has Krishna and he's giving Krishna. All right, so well, it's just we want probably 6:59, so let's just pause there. Yeah, so Prabhupada, as he does, as he will, yet one should not conclude that because he is spread everywhere, he's lost his personal existence. So although he's everywhere, he still remains a person, and that will be spoken of in the next verse. Okay. Okay. So, oh yeah, it's just tomorrow, isn't it? So let's just pause there, and tomorrow we can come back and hear, yeah, the rest of this. Yeah. And one thing I was going to mention, that leading into this verse that we read today, that now we've heard about Raja Vijay, Raja Goyam. Now it's grabbed our attention. So now Krishna, he's grabbed their attention. Now he's going to explain how he pervades everything. Yeah. Now we're in wonder, hearing that wonderful description of devotion. Raja Vijay Raja Goyam. So now he's explaining how he is everywhere. Okay, let's pause there. Okay, thank you, devotees, for joining us, and hope this inspired us all to think of Krishna. And tomorrow, let's just continue, yeah, with text 5. Okay.
Thank
Srila
you.
Prabhupada ki jai. Bhagavad Gita ki jai.
Jai.
Ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Bo, Hare Bo, Hare Bo.
Hare
Hare Bo.